Breaking news tonight, police releasing 2 ransom notes in connection to the Nancy Guthrie case. What they reveal, the new details in the notes that may be from whoever kidnapped Nancy 6 months ago. The heartbreaking update in one of them, and the stunning apology from the purported kidnappers. Why police are releasing these notes now. Also breaking late tonight, the fiery plane crash at a military base in San Diego. An F-35 hitting the ground and bursting into flames. The pilot ejecting. What went wrong? The new warning that America's water supply may be at risk for cyber attacks. The FBI describing attempts on 7 states already, and the controversial finger pointing from President Trump on who's to blame. Migrant crisis chaos. New video from a Spanish enclave. Look at this. Cars torched after tens of thousands of people raced across the border from Morocco. The deadly rush killing dozens. A warning tonight over flesh-eating bacteria, the concerns about raw seafood and contaminated water this summer. We've got the latest. Smokenado caught on camera. The giant, what do you call it, a fire whirl. Look at that, kicking up in Utah as wildfires rip through that state. High-tech ocean rescue, a swimmer swept out. A flotation device delivered by a drone. What happened next? Plus, does Amazon owe you money? The company is announcing it'll pass some tariff refunds on to customers. We've got more on that. Top story starts right now. Hi there, I'm Hallie Jackson in for Tom tonight, and we begin this evening with a major update in the Nancy Guthrie investigation. Police in Pima County in Arizona, for the first time, are releasing not 1 but 2 ransom notes that have been at the center of this heartbreaking case and that may have been written by Nancy's abductor or abductors, plural. The sheriff's department sharing this first note, which demands $4 million in exchange for Nancy's return, saying that she was, quoting here, she was safe but scared. That note was sent just a day after Nancy disappeared. But the second note, 2 days later, includes a far different tone, just a gut punch to see it. They say that Nancy perished shortly after she was taken, going on to write, "We are truly sorry." Those notes and this surveillance video of a masked person outside Nancy's home, those are really the key pieces of evidence that investigators have been looking through as they try to crack this case. With tomorrow marking 6 months since Savannah's mom was taken from her home in the middle of the night. Just days ago, our friend and colleague sharing another emotional plea to bring her mother home. Our Liz Croyce has been covering this case from the beginning and starts us off.
Tonight, the Pima County Sheriff's Office for the first time releasing the 2 ransom notes that were sent to local news outlets in the days following Nancy Guthrie's abduction on February 1st. The first note, which was sent 1 day after she was taken, begins with this chilling message. "Hello, Savannah. We have your mother, Nancy. She is safe but scared. She will be held for ransom, and once payment is received, she will be released unharmed." It goes on to give the demand, $4 million in USD before 5 p.m. on Thursday the 5th, or $6 million by 5 p.m. on Monday the 9th. The note says if the payment is received, she will be released within 12 hours of deposit to a safe drop-off location back in Tucson. But says if it is not, she will be killed. Your mother is aware of this, and her life is in your hands. It is in the best interest of everyone to have this completed as soon as possible. You will not be able to contact me from here on out. There will be no negotiation. Do not play games. Law enforcement will not be able to help you. The note ends with a Bitcoin link for the payment, redacted by police, and a final line. She had a white smartwatch on the floor of the foot of her bed, and the white floodlight in backyard was destroyed, which you can see here on drone footage. Savannah shared this video a day after reports of this note became public.
We too have heard the reports about a ransom letter in the media. As a family, we are doing everything that we can. We are ready to talk.
2 days later, the alleged kidnapper sent the second note. It says, "We did not fully grasp the seriousness of her physical condition. We never intended to hurt her. That was not our intention. She perished shortly after she was taken. We believe it was heart-related. She is buried in nature now. Nothing you could have done could have changed the outcome. We want your family to know this and hope you all can find peace. We are truly sorry." The next day, the family shared this.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Tonight, 6 months since the abduction, the Pima County Sheriff's Office saying they're making the notes public now in the hope someone recognizes something in them and comes forward. And Hallie, to that point, the Sheriff's Department wants people to take a close look at these notes. They say they reveal distinctive patterns of word choice, syntax, and phrasing, and that they provide insight into the suspect's mindset and motives. For instance, they point out the evolution of the writer's tone. There's definitely that shift between the first and second note. Officials are absolutely hoping these clues could jumpstart new tips that help them lead them either to Nancy or to whoever is behind these notes. Hallie.
Liz Kreutz, thank you. Let me bring in now a couple of experts who've been following this case closely. Chip Massey, former FBI hostage negotiator, and Cheryl McCollum, active crime scene investigator and author of Swans Don't Swim in a Sewer. Thank you both for being here on a story that is obviously, close to home for many of us at NBC. Chip, the first note uses pronouns singular, me. Second one, we. What should we read into that? Is it possible there are multiple suspects? What do you make of that?
Oh, hey, Hallie, absolutely. I think what you're seeing there is simply that you're trying to, at least from the bad guy perspective, the abductor, they're throwing in a little bit of confusion there, and maybe they're rattled on the second one. And so maybe they're revealing a little bit more, maybe even spreading out the guilt, if we are in fact to believe that these are the actual notes and these are the actual abductors. So it's very likely that what we're talking about is at least a couple people that were involved in this.
Cheryl, what about you? The shift in tone from one note to the other it's just so notable. Does it give you any indication about the author of the note? I mean, obviously, the note describes obviously very different circumstances between the two.
Right. Listen, if you take that first note and you take them at their word, it doesn't make any sense. They're going to give you 2 deadline dates. They're going to tell you, hey, we're only keeping her for 7 days, but the last date for you to pay us is the 9th. That's already more than 7 days. So they're not even accurate in what they're telling you they're going to accept. They say we want $4 million, but if we don't get that, we're going to accept 6. But you got to do it by a secondary date. That just doesn't ring true to me. This sounds like somebody, again, that is sending something to upset the family. It doesn't feel like an authentic ransom note. You've got somebody that spent so much time at the house, but then didn't ransom her for 2 days. Makes no sense.
Chip, what about the message from Savannah? It was posted the day after that second note. And we played a little bit of it there with Liz, but here's a little bit more of it.
We received your message and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
And when you look at that message in light of the second note that the Sheriff's Department has now released, you can see some of the through lines there. You look at the way that the office is releasing this, law enforcement, what do they want people to pick up on? In other words, do they think that like a word or a sentence, a way that something is written could tip somebody off? I mean, how do they hope to actually get new leads out of this?
Yeah, exactly, Haley. That's what they're trying to do here. And I really appreciate the fact you play that clip, because it does pick up and echo some of the sentiments that Savannah is pulling out. She's talking about the word peace. Now, that's forensic listening, and that's clearly what the Sheriff's County's department wants the people to do. They want them to listen to this conversation. They want them to hear if there's anything here that reminds them of somebody. Now, this could be camouflaged through AI, and I agree with Cheryl that this could very well not be the captors themselves. We're only going on what we have, right? And so we're turning to the American public, somebody that has a cell phone and a hunch, and somebody that's been paying attention to this investigation.
To that point, Cheryl, these notes, obviously when police released them today, when law enforcement released them today, they redacted the Bitcoin address, et cetera. But apparently, these notes, based on the fact that we don't really have any new leads, weren't traceable, right? How does that work? Like, how does that transmission actually work?
Listen, that is so far above what I could understand technology-wise.
Yeah.
But again, you've got the best in the world. The FBI is on this thing. You've got private companies that are helping out. So you've got the best people on that part. What I do agree with is anybody that would say she's buried in nature now, or I want the money in USDA. Typically people, if English is not their first language, may speak that way, but
That's
we're not going to talk that way. So I think they're trying to get who is saying things like that, his cadence, his rhythm, his word choice. Again, it just doesn't ring true of a group of people. It seems like one person is sending this because, again, they didn't send it to the family. They sent it to the media. They first say, hello, Savannah. That's not a demand for ransom. That's a salutation. So, again, this doesn't ring true for me. That person spent so much time staging the back of the house. If you want to impress me with a letter, explain the blood patterns at the front porch. I bet you can't because you weren't there.
Chip, how about you? I mean, what do you make of the point that Cheryl's making, the phrase, I mean, she is, it's also just so gut-wrenching to even talk about. I mean, this whole thing has just been horrific. But the idea that she was, buried in nature, that phrasing versus something like, something different. And then what law enforcement would do from here, how they might go about honing in on a location they've been trying to, and they haven't had success so far.
Yeah, again, agreement 100% that this is strange wording, right? This is strange phrasing. And so whether they're trying to disguise that or how they normally talk or whether they put this through a machine for filter, we don't know. But I agree 100% that this is an unusual phrasing. What they want is for it. This is in fact connected to anybody that is real, that somebody out there is going to hear some part of this message and connect with somebody that knows or is close to this associate in some form or fashion.
Okay. Chip Massey, Cheryl McCollum, thank you both for being on tonight. Really appreciate it. We love Savannah so much. We're thinking of her family always. If you have any information in the Guthrie case, please call the FBI tip line. It is on your screen, 1-800-CALL-FBI. We are also following some breaking news tonight out of San Diego. An F-35 fighter jet hitting the ground, crashing, bursting into flames, but the pilot managing to eject. Here's Courtney Kuby.
Video shows giant plumes of smoke rising from the site where an F-35 single-seater Marine fighter jet crashed on a U.S. military base near San Diego this morning. The black cloud of smoke visible from miles away. In the video, you can see emergency vehicles rushing to the scene, then shooting water high into the air and onto the burning wreckage before the flames could spread to nearby fields. A Marine Corps spokesperson says the pilot ejected safely and was taken to a nearby medical facility with non-life-threatening injuries. The fighter jet, a stealth aircraft that cost more than $100 million, crashing on the flight line of Marine Corps Air Station Miramar with other military aircraft close by. The airbase, the original location for the Navy's Top Gun program. This incident, the third in a string of military crashes in the western U.S. this summer. Last month, another Marine Corps fighter jet from the same unit at Miramar crashed in Washington state. That pilot ejected from the F-A-18 Hornet just moments before the plane crashed into a mountain near Seattle. The pilot suffered minor injuries. And just 2 days later, a B-52 bomber crashed at Edwards Air Force Base in California, killing all 8 on board.
The cause of today's crash is not immediately clear, but is under investigation. Hallie?
Courtney Kuby, thank you very much. Now to the surprising reversal here in Washington. The Department of Justice moving to drop the felony charge against a former Olympian accused of damaging the reflecting pool at the Lincoln Memorial. Garrett Hake explains.
Tonight, in a stunning reversal, federal prosecutors dropping their felony case against former Olympic canoeist David Hurd, who had been charged with damaging the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. The government conceding new evidence only recently provided by the Department of Interior shows, quote, the damage was the result of a botched installation and not vandalism. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro personally announced the grand jury indictment against Hearn.
The National Park Service employees observed Hearn actually forcefully and violently pulling up and removing the bottom liner with both hands.
Hearn forcefully denied those claims.
I didn't think I'd done anything wrong, so I had no reason to think I was going to be arrested.
President Trump had made the pool's more than $14 million refurbishment and repainting a major federal priority ahead of celebrations for America's 250th anniversary, repeatedly blaming the pool's subsequent problems on vandals without evidence.
The beautiful reflecting pond where we did some job, somebody comes along and starts cutting it with a knife.
Tonight, the pool is empty and still being refurbished. Hearn's attorney telling NBC News the federal government owes his client an apology. Hallie?
Garrett Hake at the White House for us tonight. Thank you. New concerns tonight, too, about water infrastructure across the country, with the FBI now investigating cyber attacks in at least 7 states. The question now, could Iran be behind them? Here's Gabe Gutierrez.
Tonight, the FBI warning cities across the country about cyber attacks to municipal water systems, writing utility companies in at least 7 states have reported incidents to the FBI, and some of that activity degraded water operations. In Minnesota alone, more than 30 municipal water systems have been targeted, and a senior law enforcement official has told NBC News that attack bears all the hallmarks of Iranian-backed hackers. Though today, President Trump denied Iran was behind it.
I don't think so. I blame it on Minnesota because they're grossly incompetent.
Minnesota's Democratic Governor Tim Walz firing back. Trump knows exactly who's responsible for this attack and knows that other states were hit too, adding it further illustrates there's no plan to win a war with Iran.
Iran's got bigger problems than worrying about Minnesota.
Back in April, after the start of the Iran war, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, warned of Iran-affiliated hackers trying to exploit a specific piece of equipment.
This is a wake-up call, not a catastrophe.
Cynthia Kaiser is a former deputy director of the FBI's cyber division. Is the water supply safe?
Yes, there does not appear to have been any effect on water quality as a part of these attacks, but the reality is that we have to be looking to the future about when these types of attacks could become a lot more consequential.
Cybersecurity experts we spoke with say municipal water systems can be easy targets if they're connected to the internet. Hallie?
Gabe Gutierrez, thank you. Overseas now to the new video of migrants surging into a Spanish enclave, sparking reaction around the world. The chaos turning deadly with dozens of people killed. Raf Sanchez has the latest.
Tonight, a deadly border crisis in North Africa becoming a global political flashpoint. Stunning images show thousands of Moroccans surging through checkpoints into the Spanish territory of Ceuta, a tiny peninsula and Europe's only land border with an African nation. These cars torched on the Moroccan side of the border. Authorities in Ceuta say at least 60,000 migrants have crossed since yesterday, many hoping for better opportunities in Europe.
It's been a very tough experience to go from the ocean.
Most coming by land, but others attempting a dangerous journey by sea. This man appears to emerge from the water with a bicycle. At least 57 people have died so far, authorities say, and most of the migrants have already returned home. But the images of chaos have rattled Europe and been seized on by President Trump.
And that same thing's going to happen to us if the Republicans don't get elected.
Spain has now sent in the military to restore order, and the country's progressive prime minister has appealed for calm. But the crisis exposing deep divides among European Union member states. Italy's conservative leader suggesting the suspension of the EU's open border policy, which allows for passport-free travel between 29 countries. A migrant crisis once again shaking politics worldwide. Raf Sanchez, NBC News.
Potentially record-breaking heat is now making a return and fueling major wildfires out west. Take a look. Eastern Washington state. Fire just ripping through the hillside there. Look at that, glowing in the distance. Officials have now put in place evacuation orders. So many people are forced to leave their homes. Out in Utah, you've got a smokenado swirling, that huge column of smoke and fire. That's what's being called the Wide Mouth 2 fire. Let's get to NBC meteorologist Bill Cairns, who's with us now. Bill, this is just double trouble, right? You got a heat dome this weekend. Millions are going to bake in that. And that's really hard for firefighters when it comes to getting a handle on some of these fires.
Yeah, Hallie, we have 26,000 active firefighters right now on 87 blazes across the country, and they are going to be an extremely dangerous and difficult conditions this weekend. So here's a map. All the red little icons that look like flames, those are all the active fires out there. Most of them are in the west. We got a couple in Florida. But look at the Pacific Northwest, especially Washington and Oregon. That area is in the middle of one of their worst fire seasons they've ever recorded. And tomorrow is going to be downright scary because we're going to have a strong cold front going through. And it's not going to have any rain with it. It's just going to be strong winds, low relative humidity, less than 20%, wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour. We already have active blazes in this area that we're calling extreme fire risk. There's a particularly dangerous situation, red flag warning for this region. So they're probably going to tell the firefighters to stay home tomorrow. It's going to be too dangerous for them to be on the ground. And if any new fires form, those fires are rapidly going to be spreading. We also have 66 million people under the heat headlines. It's been a long summer. It's been a hot summer in many of these areas, and no sign of any relief. Hundreds across the board tomorrow, and even into Sunday, we're still going to be about like 118 in areas of California and the deserts of Arizona, and as hot as 100 in Montana. So, Hallie, it's been a long summer. No signs of that heat wave breaking for many areas of the country either.
And we still got a lot of summer to go, Bill. I mean, we got, I think, 40 days just about until Labor Day. A lot of people might be hitting up the beach, et cetera, but this weekend we've seen really scary rip currents across the country over the last couple of weeks. We got some new video from New York, from Rockaway Beach. Look at this. A man swept out. Then a drone comes in, drops like a flotation device before lifeguards move in and manage to bring him to shore. I mean, it's incredible to watch. It's a good example of new technology helping to save lives. And it sounds like we're going to see some pretty dangerous rip currents as we head into the next couple of days.
Yeah, that's brilliant technology right there. But so I'm going to show you Tropical Storm Guinevere. Why am I showing you it? It's 1,000 miles from Los Angeles in Southern California. But 3 days ago, this was a major hurricane, so it created huge waves. Those waves are now arriving in Southern California. That's why we have high surf advisories from San Diego all the way up to areas around Los Angeles. And if you look inland, that's that huge heat wave. It's cool around the coast. It's going to drive everyone onto the coast, Hallie. That's where they're going to want to get their relief. It's going to be sunny and cooler, but we're going to have these huge crashing waves from what was a powerful major hurricane. It's going to be a very dangerous weekend, especially in the California beaches.
Yikes, lots to watch there. Bill Cairns, good to see you. Thank you. More to come here on Top Story, including the deadly avalanche disaster overseas. An American killed. The urgent search now for missing hikers, including the star of a popular documentary. Plus, the flesh-eating bacteria infesting warmer water. We're going to tell you where cases are spiking and what you should know before you go slurp a raw oyster. And former NFL star Tony Romo now on leave from his on-air role after his arrest. Which former pro athlete is replacing him for now? That's next. Back now with an update on Tony Romo, the former star quarterback. He was the lead NFL game analyst for CBS Sports. He is on leave tonight after his arrest for allegedly operating a vehicle under the influence. Jesse Kirsch has the details.
All right, sir.
Did I pass this test?
You turn around?
No, I didn't, huh?
Accused of operating a vehicle while under the influence, tonight one of the NFL's biggest broadcasting stars is now officially benched, too. In a brief statement, CBS Sports announcing lead game analyst Tony Romo is on leave until further notice, just days after his arrest in Milwaukee.
All right, how many drinks have you had?
This edited body camera footage released by the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office shows Romo being pulled over July 23rd. A deputy says an open bottle of an alcoholic beverage was observed on the passenger side of the vehicle. Separately, a deputy talking to Romo about what was allegedly found in a backpack.
There were a few shooters in there that I observed.
Yeah. Any of them drink?
Okay.
I don't think any of them were drink, right?
Okay. Don't move your head. Eyes and eyes only, please, okay?
Okay.
The video also showing Romo appear to struggle through a series of field sobriety tests.
You're under arrest for operating while under the influence, okay?
The former Dallas Cowboys star quarterback is now the lead NFL color commentator for CBS Sports. CBS tapping J.J. Watt to fill in during Romo's absence. NBC News reached out to Romo's attorney and representatives for comment. So far, we have not heard back.
Jesse is joining us now with more. So, Jesse, is Tony Romo going to have to show up in court for any of this?
It doesn't appear to be that will have to happen, Hallie. We've been given 3 different citations from officials in Wisconsin, and all 3 of them say that there is not an appearance required. Further, I want to read to you some of what prosecutors have told our team tonight. They say in part, quote, there have been no criminal referrals made to our office in regards to this, and they say that an OWI first in the state of Wisconsin is a traffic violation and not a criminal charge. That is the other part of the statement they sent us. So that just tells you about what his outlook is broadly in terms of the legal and justice system. But that, of course, is not saying anything about what further action might be taken on the part of his employers with what is happening to his reputation moving forward as well, Hallie.
Jesse Kirsch, thank you.
Coming up next, Amazon getting a $600 million tariff refund. So could you get a cut of that? We'll tell you what the company's saying. But first, top stories, top moment, and this is a very special one, especially right here in our Washington bureau. Exciting news from one of our own. Our Capitol Hill correspondent Mel Zanona and her husband Jason welcoming this baby girl. Mel had a baby, Romy Jade. She is gorgeous. She was born Wednesday, apparently to the sound of the Cowboy Carter album by Beyonce. She has good taste already. 6 pounds, 7 ounces, 20 inches. We are so thrilled for Mel and Jason, and for baby Romy, too. We are adding to our NBC family. Stay with us. We've got more top story on the way. Back now with Top Stories news feed, and the American service member killed in the Middle East laid to rest today. Thousands gathering in New York City for funeral services for Sergeant Angel Rampersand. She's one of 3 Americans who died during an Iranian attack on a base in Jordan. She was just 28 years old. In New York, new video capturing a building collapse in Mount Vernon. I want to show it to you here, crashing down, sending debris. Look at that, right out onto the road, damaging nearby parked cars. You see the person on a scooter passing by, managing to dodge that. I mean, that's terrifying. Mount Vernon officials say the good news is nobody was inside the building and nobody was hurt. And does Amazon owe you money? Amazon says they got about $600 million in tariff refunds, and they plan to pass some of that money back to customers. Remember, the Supreme Court in February struck down a big part of President Trump's tariff agenda, forcing the government to refund companies. No word yet on who's eligible or when customers can expect that refund at this point. To the major breakthrough now in a kidnapping case after 4 years. A Milwaukee teen who disappeared at just 15 years old found alive in Virginia. Investigative reporter Chuck Gowdy from our NBC Chicago station has more.
Her dad, he called me and was like, her phone was going to voicemail. And I knew immediately it was just off.
For the parents of this 15-year-old, Joniah Walker, a switched-off cell phone was the key clue that their daughter was in danger that day in 2022. The teenager became a well-publicized missing person, her family and friends begging for help and criticizing Milwaukee police for moving too slowly, pointing to this doorbell cam video of the last time the teenager was seen as evidence of a sloppy investigation.
Everybody on that block has a Ring camera. Why didn't they go knock on the doors?
You guys got the video.
We got the videos, not the police.
No one interviewed me, no one sat me down, no one called us to the back. It was me. It was us, me and my family versus the police stations with a glass between us.
Now, 4 years later, Joniah Walker, 19 years old, has been found 730 miles away in a small frame home in Blacksburg, Virginia. Police say she'd been sexually and physically abused while being held as a captive here by this man, 37-year-old Owen Anderson, held, they say, ever since that day outside a Chicago movie theater where he had arranged to meet her following a lengthy online recruitment. Records state Anderson disposed of her cell phone and a burner phone he'd sent her to use in a sidewalk trash can. A few days ago, Milwaukee County authorities filing these kidnapping and child abduction charges against Anderson, who has yet to appear in Wisconsin court and is still in custody in Virginia. Milwaukee police declining our request to discuss the alleged kidnapping or answer questions about their investigation. An officer on the case has said previously that they had no indication the teenager had been targeted by an organized abduction ring.
Can assure you that our agency did check into our databases that we use that assist us with
human trafficking investigations, and we have no reason to believe that she was involved in human trafficking.
In an email to NBC Chicago, a Milwaukee police official reiterated that position, saying it would be misleading to report the teenage girl had been a victim of human trafficking. However, the charges clearly lay out that authorities say she was the victim of a kidnapping, child abduction, and sexual abuse while being held against her will for years. An odyssey now ended, but questions remain.
Chuck Gowdy, thank you. To top stories, global watch now, and the deadly avalanche in Pakistan. A 39-year-old American climber is among those killed. And the star of a popular Netflix documentary is still missing tonight. NBC's Priscilla Thompson is following this one for us tonight. Hey, Priscilla, it's good to see you. Part of the issue here with this search and rescue are the pretty dangerous weather conditions, right?
Yeah, Hallie, harsh weather has hampered some of these efforts, according to the search teams on the ground. Some of the helicopters have had trouble flying, but they say that they will be back out in the morning to continue to rescue or recover those who are still out there. And we know that one of those people is world-renowned mountaineer Nirmal Porja. He was featured in that 2019 Netflix documentary as he made history scaling 14 of the world's highest peaks in just 189 days. The Alpine Club in Pakistan says that they have been assisting in the search. They say that some of these climbers had fallen 1,500 feet down this mountain. They also say that there is drone footage that appears to have found all but one of these hikers, though their identities and their conditions are not known from that video. And of course, we are now learning about the 3 people who have been confirmed dead, including Mallory Geese, this 39-year-old woman from Texas. We know from an expedition group that posted Moving Mountains, they said that this was her first 8,000-meter peak in Pakistan. And we know that Geese herself had posted in February a photo of her in hiking gear saying that she was closing her Pilates studio and, quote, taking a giant leap of faith into the unknown to see where life goes. And just 6 weeks ago, in fact, she had posted, heading out for my first big kid climbing expedition in Pakistan. Just such tragic news there. And I will say one other thing that we're hearing from these search groups is that there are chips that were in the jackets and on all of these climbers, and they're using technology to be able to find those chips and help locate those who still need to be recovered or rescued. Hallie?
Now to top stories health check and a new warning about a dangerous flesh-eating bacteria, with Florida seeing its first deadly case of the year. This is a bacteria that you typically see more in the summer. It's usually transmitted if you eat undercooked seafood or raw seafood like oysters, but it can also get to you if you have a wound that's open that comes into contact with seawater. So like cut yourself on a sharp rock or a shell, etc. Erica Edwards is tracking all of this. She's joining us now. A lot of people headed to the beach this weekend. You know, this thing, I feel like we talk about it every summer, eating the oysters, et cetera. Context-wise, is it worse this summer? What should people be looking out for, et cetera?
Yeah, we're talking about Vibrio vulnificus. And as you said, I mean, this happens every summer. And these types of infections tend to happen in really warm coastal waters, really up and down the eastern seaboard. As you said, Hallie, 2 ways to get sick from it. One, eating contaminated shellfish, especially raw oysters. That usually causes pretty bad upset stomach. It can also enter the body through an open wound. You'll know it if you're infected. Within a day or so, people can get a fever, along with really painful, swollen red sores. Antibiotics can treat it, but it's important to act fast.
Who has time for that? Between the parasite with the, explosive diarrhea, between this, like nobody needs this. Is it just in Florida or is it beyond? Like, do we typically see it start in the south and then spread?
So far this year, 12 cases in Florida, according to the state's health department. Now, the CDC nationally keeps pretty good data on Vibrio, this type of bacteria and other Vibrio infections. The agency reporting 57 cases nationally just this week alone, Hallie.
If you do want to eat shellfish, Erica, let's say, or go into the ocean or whatever, there are steps you can take to protect yourself, right?
So when it comes to oysters, the safest option is to cook them. Otherwise, cover any open sores. Really, experts say even a waterproof bandage, Band-Aid works really well. Also, shower off after a dip in coastal or brackish waters. Hallie?
Okay, Erica Edwards, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Coming up here on Top Story, another AI escaping. How Anthropic's Claude was able to hack into multiple organizations during a cybersecurity test. We'll explain. And our great American tonight, Emerald. The story behind his iconic catchphrase, you know what it is? Bam. They wrote it in. They make me say it. I can't say it like Emerald. He's the only one. You're going to hear him next on more with that and how he's passing the torch on to his son. That's next. Back now with the new warning from Anthropic, of course, one of the leaders of the AI revolution. So the company is sharing that 3 models of Claude, that's its AI platform. So 3 Claude models went rogue and broke out of their test environments, hacking 3 real outside companies. This is just, if it sounds familiar, if you're like, well, wait a second, deja vu. OpenAI, remember just days ago, a competitor of Anthropic, said its own models hacked into another company. NBC News Chief Technology Analyst Joanna Stern is following this and joins us now. Joanna, thank you so much for being with us. And this one's a little complicated, but our team made this animation I want to put up here. It shows the little Claude logos. Looks like they're playing in, kind of a sandbox, and then they basically escape. Explain what happened in simple terms. And Joanna, the difference here between this and what happened with OpenAI, because in this instance, it sounds like Anthropic did kind of hook up the models to the internet when they maybe weren't supposed to. Walk us through it.
That's exactly right. So the sandbox is a good way to visualize it, with this important caveat that these Claude models didn't deliberately break out. Anthropic had put them into this hacking exercise, which is all part of the testing. And I should say these models didn't have guardrails in place. They are purposely testing these raw models to see their capabilities. And so the issue is that they told these models, okay, go out, you can do these things, but they were not supposed to be hooked up to the internet. They were supposed to be working in their sandbox, and they mistakenly, the testing company that was working on this, had them hooked up to the internet. So what happens? The models do access some other companies, are able to get inside. It doesn't seem to have done any significant damage. But here we are, and we know this also is just, as you said, this is just a few days after OpenAI had said that something similar had happened. It's not exactly the same, but it is the same. Apples to oranges, but similar in the sense that they were both doing cybersecurity testing and that the companies lost control over the testing.
What happened? Did anything bad happen to the companies that the Anthropic kind of models hacked into?
Not that we know, and we also don't know anything about these companies. We know very little about which actual companies here. They're quite vague in the post, probably because they're likely still dealing and telling and making these companies aware of this. Anthropic, I should say, also said in the blog post that they went and did this after OpenAI had released their information and their blog post last week detailing what happened with their models going rogue and going into Hugging Face's servers. So that is what prompted Anthropic to do this.
So that's interesting. So I was going to ask, what's the incentive or what's like the motivation for Anthropic to do it and then to talk about it? But then the other piece of it, aren't they going public soon? I mean, that's on the horizon.
Look, I had a funny tweet or X post about this that has got a little viral now. And I really have to say, it feels like these are parents of kids trying to just say, my kid is smarter than your kid. My kid is better. My kid can hack.
Look how my kid got out of the sandbox. My God. Right. Yeah.
Exactly where I'm going here, right? My kid also got out of the sandbox, and my kid is smarter than your kid. Actually, 3 of ours got out. It feels that way, right? And sure, we do want to say that probably there's some really goodwill here from Anthropic to put this out there, to make it aware, to make this happen so it doesn't happen in the future. But also there is a competitive incentive, like you said. Both these companies are going public. Both these companies want to have the most powerful models. They want to prove that. And so when you see this come out, you have to think it's some people trying to one-up each other.
Joanna, we're so glad to have you. Thank you. It's a good breakdown on the playground. It's all, much to watch on this. I'm sure we'll talk again soon. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. To our series now, Great Americans, where we talk with those who have achieved so much about their life in this country. Tonight, Tom sits down with the man who inspired a generation of chefs, somebody who's been a mainstay on American television for decades and is finding new fame and new life going viral more recently. Yes, our Great American this week, Chef Emerald Lagasse.
What do you love about America? There's a lot of things. The freedom of pursuing opportunity, the freedom of
being creative and innovative and mentoring people to be the next generation of moving the needle.
Another knot! Stick around!
66-year-old chef and restaurateur Emeril Lagasse, best known for his world-acclaimed restaurants, best-selling cookbooks, and this catchphrase. Bam! Never anticipating a career in front of millions, eager to learn from him.
This television business is not easy.
Raised in Fall River, Massachusetts, by parents in the textile trade, cooking began at home with his mother.
She was my first influence of cooking, maybe 7 or 8 years old. We had a vegetable garden in the backyard, and she taught me how to make vegetable soup.
Do you remember what it was about cooking that you loved so much?
I think the first thing was probably about making people happy.
Pork fat rules, baby! That ethos of hospitality would land Lagasse in Americans' homes as one of the country's first TV celebrity chefs.
His enthusiasm and passion for food is exquisite to watch.
He really has brought cooking to the forefront for Americans.
Fold it in. Look, it's going to melt. It's going to be happy, okay?
Connecting up close with audiences on Emeril Live.
Little bam, 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 bam!
Where does BAM come from?
We were shooting 8 shows a day.
8 shows a day?
8. Second show, third show, fourth show, the dishes are all on the table, and now the crew wants to break. They would come and just devour the table. We come back after lunch, and I'm trying to now do the next 3 or 4 shows. They're kind of like dozing off on me because
food coma.
They've ate so much food, right? So BAM came to wake them up.
BAM! While Lagasse has restaurants across America and at sea on cruise ships,
Still one of my favorite dishes.
many of his dishes are synonymous with the distinct Creole and Cajun flavors of New Orleans.
Dollar for dollar, I think that we eat better here than any place in the world.
If I would say just pick one, what is your favorite dish?
Wow. My version of New Orleans barbecue shrimp.
Favorite dessert?
No question about it. Banana cream pie.
This city became his home for 4 decades.
The music, the food, the architecture, most importantly, the people, the variety of cultures that made me feel very, very warm and like home.
Here, he established the Emeril Lagasse Foundation, raising more than $24 million for children's charities. When a series of setbacks crippled New Orleans, Emeril was forced to make tough decisions. First, after Katrina, and then COVID.
We closed 5 restaurants with COVID, and it gave me a lot of time to think about how we were doing things and how we're going to do it better.
He saw a chance to rebuild and reinvent, this time alongside his son, EJ.
It was really sort of a rebirth for us.
At 22, EJ became the youngest chef in history to lead a 2 Michelin star restaurant, taking over as co-owner of Emeril's in New Orleans.
It's a privilege of a lifetime to be able to do it arm in arm, with your dad.
And for Emeril, he still lives the way he cooks, always kicking it up a notch.
Can you remember a time where you felt most proud to be an American?
Every day. I just wake up every day and I just try to do a little better than I did yesterday.
And thanks to all of you, as always, for watching Top Story. Tom's back Monday, and I'll see you Sunday on Nightly News. I'm Hallie Jackson in Washington. Stay right there. We've got more news on the way.
We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.